Cancer is a word. It is not a death sentence. You are not defined by what you're going through. You are much more than your disease. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and in the manner in which you live. Never give up. Never give in. This is a story of Richard KIUNDI, a husband, a father, a friend. My name is Yvonne Kalahi. Welcome to Cancer Diaries.
My name is Richard KIUNDI. I'm now 59 years old. I'm an accountant by training. I left formal employment in 2003 and got into business. My wife and I started a company called Roma Agency, which was into advertising. Then we moved on and became a media company where we acquired TV screens, which we put in standalone TV screens, which we put in buses. So for advertising. It was really a hit, but the police, kept on arresting them after 2 days. So they said, remove your screens. So we had to remove them, and that we closed that business.
Roma Media moved to online advertising. But like they say, misfortune comes like a thief in the night.
I started having some discomfort in the stomach sometimes in mid-2013. And I would go to the hospital, and where we live, there is a TRM. At TRM, there is a matter, and I would go there, get medication. I'm told there is some, first time that they say there's some bacteria, which they gave me medicines for. I took the medicines. I think it was 7 days, and a week later, the same things came back.
The discomfort was causing Richard and his family sleepless nights. What was this that was playing hide and seek with them?
Actually, there was no pain at all. Just a lot of gas, bloating, so it was just that.
The discomfort persisted, and Richard decided it was time to get serious answers and get to the bottom of what was going on. Luckily, he got a doctor who got to see him on short notice.
I requested if she could wait for me, and they said, okay, if you're here in 20 minutes, she'll wait for you, which was very gracious of her. So I quickly went there, and in fact I found she had cleared the desk. It was just me. She saw me, so I explained to her exactly what has been happening, and she said, I think we need some investigation. I think there's something not right. What we'll do, we'll need to do an endoscopy, a colonoscopy. And I said, well, fine. She said, okay, I'm out of town for 7 days. It was a few days. She was out of town most of that week. But when I'm back, I think there's nothing is going to kill you. She's actually got a very good sense of humor. Doctors are very serious guys. They talk about life and death matters.
Richard was booked in at the Nairobi hospital for tests. It was going to take 7 days for the test results to come out. 7 days that were going to determine the actual status of his health.
The following Tuesday, I went to her office. I had an appointment at about 11. And when I got there, I said, I'm here. When she was told I was there, she asked if I've come with my wife. I said, why? She said, no, it's just important that she's here. So maybe if she hasn't come, if she can come in the afternoon. So I called her, and she was somewhere around town. So she actually came in about half an hour. So we walked in, and she showed us the biopsy report, which had that ugly word, cancer.
The whistle was blown, and the race for his life was on. He had been diagnosed with stomach cancer stage 1B.
I was in shock. My wife was crying. That's what happened at that point. My wife was crying. I was in shock. Then I said, okay. But I think just a few minutes later, it's very calm, because she said, look, this is stage 1B. It can be managed. You don't have a major problem. The one question I asked was, can it be cured or managed? That was it. I never knew it was a significant difference, but then I realized it's very significant. Are you managing this, or are you treating?
When you're first diagnosed, you may have trouble believing or even accepting that you have cancer. This is called denial. And it can be a serious problem if it goes on for too long. Why? Because it'll prevent you from getting the treatment you need.
You should not mention my name with the word cancer. The two are not. I said, well, acceptance is where you start first. Once you accept that you have a problem, that's when now we start looking at ways of, treating you, and your body has accepted that there's a problem. So psychologically, your body will start working towards the healing, as the doctors do what they can.
The first step of treatment was surgery, and the surgeon was ready to perform the procedure the following day.
So we went to see him on a Thursday, and he looked at the notes that Dr. Musa had made and all that, and said, well, I can do this tomorrow morning if you guys feel like. I said, yeah, that will be fine. I think it's good to get it out. So he said, okay, do you have any issues? And I said, well, I'm diabetic and I'm hypertensive, and my doctor is Dr. Onyike. So I called Dr. Onyike and said, doctors are interesting, I think, because he told Dr. Onyike, we were just sitting there, he told Dr. Onyike, there is this patient of yours who I want to cut up tomorrow. So I wanted to confirm if it is okay. Richard was fit for surgery and was admitted at the Nairobi hospital. The preps for his next surgery were put into first gear. I was in a general ward because the main private ward was full. And I insisted that, my cover is for a private ward, so I must get a private room. And the only room which was available was in the women's ward. So, of course, the matron said, would you be comfortable, in the women's ward? I said, but I live with women in the house, What's the issue? So I was taken to St. Edward. It's going to be called St. Edward's or something like that. Where in the morning, I had to be given a specific time to use the bathroom. So all the ladies are told to, this 20 minutes is for, you stay in your rooms, you don't come out. As the sun came up the following day, Richard was wheeled into the theatre, where he hoped that come sundown, he would be as good as new. I was wheeled to the theatre in the morning, about 10 in the morning, and I met these two fellows. Originally I come from Makueni, but I moved to Yatta, to Machakos. So the two nurses, one was from Makueni and one was from Machakos, Yatta, near my place. So I was like, you guys are the ones who have been sent to send me off into the other world, my guys. And just before we left, I blacked out. So I actually didn't quite get to enjoy that joke which I cracked at that point. Next thing, I woke up, it was night. And I was constrained by a lot of things. I could not move, nicely. So one of the things I noticed was I had this is now at night, I'm back in the ward, of course. I had very tight socks, they were stockings. So they were really uncomfortable. So I decided to remove them. And it was such a difficult task that by the time I finished, I actually managed to remove them. By the time I finished, the nurse had a commotion and came and put on the light and said, you can't remove those. I said, why not? He said, because they are to protect you from getting clots. Yeah, after the operation, you might get some clots. So I also had a catheter. A catheter is very degrading, I think. So I told him, okay, I'll accept you to put them back if you remove the catheter. So we traded off. Richard's family was worried. The surgery took longer than they expected. It was a long night for the family. My family now came on the Saturday morning, normal visiting hours, and they explained how they were worried. They had been told I would come out of theatre at 4, so to come at that time. They stayed at the hospital until 6. They are told the guy is still in theatre, so they start wondering, what has the doctor found again, which has delayed, their stay. So I'm sure in this house people didn't sleep very well that night. It was a smiling Richard that the family found in hospital after the surgery. Will the surgeon's report keep Richard smiling? So they came the following day, they found me there. I was a happy guy, smiling and everything, and the doctor was very happy with what he had done because he came in when they were there. And he said, that thing was so neat. He thinks that's one of his best operations, blah, 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 that kind of story. The success of the surgery and positive road to recovery would be determined in the next 10 days. 10 days when tests would be carried out to check on the progress of the surgical wound. they do a scan, they give you some liquid, some paint, some colored liquids just to see how the wound is healing, because they'll cut you. So I went, I think the 3rd or 4th day. Normally he told me they do it the 7th day. But he said, because I had pipes all over, so whatever that was coming out of my body was showing signs of very quick recovery. And how he did that, I don't know. But he's the doctor, I'm not. So, he said, I think we can do this test on day 4 instead of day 7. So when I was wheeled, this one I was accepting to be wheeled. So when I was wheeled into the lab, they connected everything, and the guy asked me when to do the operation, and I told him, he said, you guys are joking. You're just wasting time. There is no way you could have healed. I said, well, it's a doctor who said that, it's not me. So he gave me this very foul tasting liquid too. I was thinking he's doing that because he says we are wasting his time. So, anyway, I drank the thing. He put his screen, and there was not a single leakage. The thing had closed. He said, no, that's not possible. Let's do it again. So we did it again, and it was okay.
The lab test showed that the wound was healing nicely. Richard wanted nothing more than to go home and to be with his family. So it was music to his ears when his doctor told him he was discharged and he could go home. But there was a hitch.
When the doctor said on a Friday morning, told the hospital to start discharging me, I would leave on Saturday. My wife calls me in the evening and said the insurance has called her and said they are not covering me in full. The bill was 1.5 million, they were going to pay 500,000. Because I don't know, it's a chronic disease or it's preconditioned, I don't know, some weird. But at that point, I just wanted to leave the hospital. So, I had to raise the money and paid the following day. I left, came home.
The insurance firm rejected to meet the full hospital bill. This was not good news to Richard and his family. The treatment journey was just beginning. The race was far from over. Cancer Diaries continues shortly. Welcome back. You're watching Cancer Diaries. Richard underwent urgent, successful surgery. The first part of his journey was done. The race to beat the cancer that was threatening to take over his life and body was on.
I went back for a review by the surgeon who said, you are good. Now go to an oncologist. So I went to the oncologist who told me that staging cancer is not very accurate in this country. They don't have the machines. There's something everybody talks about called the PET. That's when I had it first. The PET CT scan. So, they are available in some other countries. India is the most affordable. And she said the reason for this is to be staged to know how far the cancer spread, so that she will know how to treat me.
Positron emission tomography, PET, is a nuclear imaging technique that creates detailed, computerized pictures of organs and tissues inside the body. A PET scan can be used to detect cancerous tissues and cells in the body that may not always be found through computer tomography, CT, or magnetic resonance imaging, MRI. Accompanied by his wife, Richard left for India where he had the PET scan done, and after 7 days, he was back home with the PET results.
Came back with the reports and she said, yeah, now I know what to do. So you need 6 chemos and 25 radiotherapy. And I will start. There's a specific time which is given. You have to first overheal. So it's normally a month after the surgery. So how much will it cost? Because by that time I had no insurance cover. Because my insurance had paid everything. They said they're not touching this sickness again. If something else happens, they will be able to take it up. But this particular one, you've paid what you are going to pay, and that's it. So I got the quote from Nairobi Hospital, from local hospitals, let's just put it that way. And the 6 chemo and the 25 ready would cost just under 4 million, which I didn't have. So I was like, okay, that's a death sentence, basically, because I can't afford it.
Richard needed 4 million shillings. 4 million shillings that he just did not have. He had no insurance cover, so he asked for a quotation from India.
They brought a ridiculous quote. I mean, compared to what we had here, it was ridiculous. I said, this now, I can manage. But of course, I had no insurance cover. And the 1 million I had paid at the hospital was all I had.
India had come through for Richard. Now, he hoped his friends would be able to tide him over.
I went to school in Alliance High School. And we have a very strong old boys association. So these are the guys I appealed to. I told them, guys, and within, I think, I don't even think it's a week. Within a week or so, I had more than 1 million shillings, which is what was required to go to India.
Accompanied by his son, Richard went back to India for chemo and radiotherapy treatment. The radiotherapy took longer than expected, as he needed to constantly boost his white blood cells